Welcome to ChampionsHeart. You can't play boxing. Featuring boxing addict Johnny Farache and friends from superfans to superstars. Let's roll.
Hey, boxing fans. Today is Friday, July 24th, and I am joined by Hall of Fame publicist from 15rounds.com, Mr. Marc Abrams. How you doing, Marc?
What's up, Johnny? How you doing?
I'm doing well. First of note, it's not always sunny in Philadelphia. Today, the boxing world lost a legend.
Yes, we did.
Philadelphia. A quick moment of silence for brother Naazim Richardson. A legend, man. Bernard Hopkins, Shane Mosley, man.
Steve Cunningham.
Steve Cunningham. I actually, speaking of Steve Cunningham, was working in the corner of Jason Gavin when Cunningham fought Gavin at the Prudential Center in Newark. Mm-hmm. So I got my little 15 minutes of hanging out with Naazim, the weigh-ins and that sort of thing. What a great guy. Just a great guy.
Tremendous guy. A big loss. Not only in the boxing community of Philadelphia, he was a real good, decent human being. I've spent many hours talking with him. Just a great guy. I mean, he would just talk to you, and he would treat, even though he was, one of the best trainers in the business, and with, like you said, Bernard and Mosley and all these high profile athletes, he would treat you with such respect, and that's the best thing you can say about a person. He just was a real good man on top of his professional accolades.
Absolutely, and just like you said, and he treated everyone the same too. That was one of the first pro fights I was working at corner. He gave me a ton of respect, spoke to me, we had a little chat. I mean, it was very cool. And one of his greatest accomplishments in my eyes is when he caught Antonio Margarito with his concrete gloves.
So that too. A lot of people, kind of gloss under the radar that he actually made Felix Trinidad re-wrap when he fought Bernard Hopkins, because he didn't like the way those were wrapped as well. So yeah, I mean, he had a keen eye for that, and obviously he was a tremendous strategist. He used to have a lot of great philosophies that when you sat back after you're talking to him, and you sit down after you talk to him, you're like, you know what? Naazim was right. So, yeah. He was like I said, a tremendous guy, great trainer, wonderful man to talk to. He would call me about certain things in Philadelphia and ask me a couple things here or there, and I would do the same with him. So I mean, it was an honor and a privilege to be a little part of his career, in the sense that we had a great dialogue back and forth, and it's a sad day, not only here in Philadelphia, but in the boxing community as well.
It sure is. Definitely a huge loss to the boxing community. And you being so close right in the Philadelphia boxing community, and there's always those great trainers that come after those great trainers, kind of like, Sugar Hill behind Emmanuel Stewart. Who could we see, or who should we kind of keep our eyes on that was trained under the great late?
Well, he would spend a lot of his time in Schuller's gym, and there's a lady named Sharon Baker, who's the first woman trainer in Philadelphia. Steve Breadman Edwards, was part of that gym scene. So there's a lot of people who that I'm sure he's influenced around the city and probably around the world.
Beautiful. Love to see his boxing mind thoughts go on as he rests in peace. All right. Now let's get some boxing news, because one of the craziest fights ever made. Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. Asterisk exhibition, 8 rounds. Hope no one gets hurt.
I don't know what to make of it. I mean, exhibition. I heard they're not using headgear. 12-ounce gloves, which they're a little bit bigger than the normal heavyweight gloves. I don't know how they're going to approach it. I saw a comment from Andy Foster, the head of the California State Athletic Commission, says that they're probably not going to beat the heck out of each other. So, I mean, I don't know what to make of it. Maybe after, if it lasts a couple rounds, maybe the competitive juices will start to, get the best of both these guys, and maybe we'll see a real competitive fight. I just don't know what to think of it.
Well, you can't play boxing, so I'm not for sure where in the middle they can kind of find themselves in this fight.
Well, if they're doing an exhibition and just gonna move around, at that point, I think you can play it a little bit.
Right. So we're gonna see, because it's gonna be on the platform Triller, and they're gonna do a 10-part docu-series.
Yeah, and it's also gonna be on. I believe it's also gonna be on the normal pay-per-view outlets as well.
Okay. Also on that card, the Athletic Commission reported that former NBA player Nate Robinson will fight YouTube star Jake Paul.
I actually spoke to his trainer yesterday, BJ Flores, and yeah, fight's going to happen. Supposedly Nate Robinson's had a little bit of boxing experience way back when he was a youngster growing up. I believe he's from the Seattle area. So Nate Robinson had a little bit of boxing experience, and Jake Paul's has had a couple pro fights, and we'll see what I would imagine there'll be similar type of fights added to that card. I would imagine.
Right. And previously, Jake Paul was training with a guy in Miami named Milton LaCroix. I'm not for sure if you've ever heard of him, but
Milton McCrory?
Milton LaCroix.
So
LaCroix, L-A-C-O, like the water or whatever. And if you look back in his first couple fights, he kind of took Jake Paul and whatever. But Milton LaCroix is the same person who taught Teofimo Lopez how to box. And that's a fact, back in the day in Miami. But not to say Jake Paul could be anything like Teofimo Lopez, but he was in good. What I'm trying to say was he was actually in good hands for when he first started off. So I think he has some pretty decent boxing skills so far. He's been boxing for a couple of years now. Is he a high level professional? No. But can he box a little bit? He can box a little bit.
I've actually seen some sparring footage of him because I have a very close relationship with his trainer BJ Flores. I mean, he looks like he looks like he can he can move around a little bit. So I mean, I'm not gonna say he's gonna win the cruiserweight, light heavyweight championship of the world, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, like I said, let's just this whole event, a little skeptical. Let's see what happens.
Pacquiao sounds like he's aiming towards Triple G, looking way up the ladder. Are they seeing something?
I'll believe that when I see it. I don't.
Right. Let's go back over the results over last week. We had some pretty good fights. Isaac Dogbe actually got back on track, and he made it look pretty easy actually. With a pretty good win over Chris Avalos, 27-8.
Avalos has been on the other side of the mountain for a little bit. It was a good matchmaking. A guy that's going to be right in front of Dogbe to kind of get his confidence back, and he did what he had to do. I think he's fighting up at featherweight now, and we'll see. I actually, before he lost to Navarrete, I thought he could be a guy because he's got a little bit of an engaging personality, a guy that can make some noise, up the boxing ranks. I thought he had a chance to become possibly a star, but we'll see. And other guys have suffered losses, and we've learned losing to Emmanuel Navarrete is it's not a surprise.
It's top shelf stuff, yeah.
So we'll see how he gets. He rights his ship in the next couple fights.
Yeah, I liked what I saw by him the other night, and like you said, Navarrete is not just a great fighter; he's a really great fighter. So he's definitely top shelf type stuff.
Yeah.
We also saw former WBO 126 pound champion Oscar Valdez. Big win over Jason Velez.
And that's going to set up play with him and Miguel Burchell. He looked okay. He got the stoppage victory, so I'm sure he was grateful for that. Miguel Burchell, it's a whole different, and when I say the word animal, that guy, he's a real, he's a real aggressive kind of guy in the ring. So right now, I mean, I kind of like Burchell solidly in that fight.
Yeah, I do too.
But it should be a good fight because Valdez likes to bang around, and I think it'll be an entertaining fight while it lasts.
What do you make of young Elvis Rodriguez, undefeated, 8 knockouts, look pretty good?
Yeah, he's out of this series that the top rank had for the 7-8 weeks that they had it. so some guys, Jared Anderson, Elvis Rodriguez, obviously Clay Collard, he, became a little bit of a darling from it. So some guys emerged a little bit, and maybe we'll start to pick up steam with a decent fan base behind them. And Elvis Rodriguez is definitely one of them.
Right. So you segued right into the next part, which is top-ranked 7 weeks of boxing glory outside of COVID. I thought they did a great job.
To do what they did
in there.
To do what they did with under the circumstances, losing all the fights that they did, and especially when sports fans, boxing fans, they really needed a little fill of something. They did a really nice job. And then, from what I understand, they're going to go back in August, and we're going to start seeing some world title fights in August.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so line it up. Tonight we have Golden Boy coming back.
Yeah, Vergil Ortiz and Samuel Vargas headlining. Vergil Ortiz, a lot of people think is the top prospect in the game, and his fight with Sammy Vargas. Vargas is a grizzled veteran. He's been in with a lot of guys. He's given some guys some problems. Other guys he hasn't. So this will be a good test for Ortiz, at least to see where he's at, in the atmosphere of the welterweight division.
Yeah, I mean, he is Golden Boy's maybe top guy right now.
Might be the team. He may be the top prospect in the game.
Yeah, and he may be, and he's definitely made it look easy over a lot of unbeaten fighters, a lot of great fighters, and no one has really tested him yet. Mm-hmm. Do you think he'll get a test tonight? We'll
see. Maybe he'll get some rounds in. I don't know about a test, but maybe he'll get some rounds.
Right. Well, we'll see. I know that Robert Garcia. He's in that tough gym there. He gets great rounds.
Well, late report. Robert Garcia won't be in the corner as he tested positive for COVID earlier in the week. He tested negative, but he said he's just going to play it safe. This came out an hour or so ago that he's not going to be in the corner tonight with Vergil Ortiz.
So he tested positive and then negative?
Yeah, there's been all kinds of craziness with these tests. I think we saw it with Michaela Mayer. She tested positive but then negative, and been several others. But, I guess once they get the positive test, at least, they got played safe and, have you just chill for a couple weeks.
Right. Also on the card tonight, someone you just spoke with the other day, a cool little chat you had with Shane Mosley Jr.
Yeah, Shane Mosley. I talked to pretty much everyone on the undercard. Mosley Jr., Sinisa Estrada, Hector Valdez, kid that
Evan Sanchez.
Evan Sanchez. I couldn't think off the top of my head.
Yep.
It should be interesting to see some of the young prospects that Golden Boy has. They're all in kind of in a little bit of step-up fights. And, not big step-up fights, but, baby step-up fights. And nice to see them, they'll get some good airtime, and you start to chart their progress as well.
Right. And this is, like we said, Golden Boy's first fight back.
Yep.
And it's interesting to see how they handle their logistics.
Yes.
And how many of these fights that are on tap stay on tap?
So far, everything's been okay. Ironically, the co-feature between lightweights Hector Tanahara and Mercedes Hesta, that had to be caught off, but not because of COVID. Hesta came down with food poisoning.
Ooh. Yeah.
So
don't eat those little ham sandwiches that they've been sitting out all day. Tomorrow night on ESPN Plus app, Joe Joyce.
That'll be tomorrow afternoon, taking on Michael Wallace with the win. Joe Joyce will get his opportunity to fight the undefeated. We talk about top prospects in the game. Another guy maybe in the top 2, 3, 5 at worst, Daniel Dubois. So it's a opportunity for Joyce to look good and make a statement to the fans out there why he would have a legitimate chance to beat Dubois.
Yeah, right. So tomorrow afternoon, what time's the start time on that?
I believe 2 o'clock on ESPN Plus, 2 o'clock Eastern time.
2 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow on ESPN Plus. It looks like Showtime and Premier Boxing Championship announced their schedule. Pretty solid schedule.
9 fights starting on August 1st. With a lot of good fights, a lot of competitive fights. Some guys who don't have the biggest names in big step up fights for themselves, Stephen Fulton and Angelo Leo will headline that for the vacant WBO 122-pound title that was just left vacant by Emmanuel Navarrete. So I mean, it's a real competitive fight, some decent fights on the undercard. I've spoken with Joseph George, who's going to fight Marcos Escudero. I plan to speak today with Rais Salim, who's going to be fighting Tremaine Williams in the co-feature battle of undefeated 122-pounders, who with the winner will be in line and maybe fight the winner of the main event.
Excellent. Yeah, I love the lineup. You also got both the Charlo brothers going on September 26th.
Yeah, in a split pay-per-view, which is I've never seen that done before. With maybe a pay-per-view in the afternoon and pay-per-view at night, but you get both events for one price.
You don't have to double dip on the Charlo. You get one price, both Charlos. Yeah,
whatever time, 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, they'll do probably a 3-hour show. Then come back at night and you get another 3 hour plus hour show.
Well, are they in different locations?
Nope, they'll meet the Mohegan Sun.
Excellent. All right, my man. Well, there's a good wrap up. We got some good boxing to watch this weekend. Pretty excited about that. We're pretty excited about next week as we're slowly rolling this stuff out. All these guys are rolling their boxing out. It's pretty good stuff.
We'll do, yeah. But likewise, I mean, it's, baseball starting last night, and basketball starting next week. Hopefully, even though it's not ideal, it's without fans. It's starting to feel a little bit, more normal again.
Yeah. I mean, every day there was like Groundhog Day. We're waking up and what's going to happen.
Tell me about it.
It's crazy. Just, Dr. Fauci, please, Dr. Fauci.
Yeah.
Stick to what you're doing over there. Don't throw a baseball.
We'll do, yeah, I hear that.
All right, man.
All right.
That's cool. We're going to wrap it up for today. We'll get back next week.
We'll
Appreciate
do.
You.
Look forward to it.
All right, my man. Dream big, live large, love life. Thank you, my man.
Thank you. God bless. Bye.